Children, welcome back to this chapter, Life Process. I am Madhavi. As you all know me, I am biology teacher from BRGS. So today we are continue this topic, transportation in humans. So in last video, we have gone through the function of the heart. In the heart there are 4 chambers, right atrium, left atrium, and right ventricle and left ventricle. So the main important component is blood for the transportation system in human. Blood consists of plasma and blood cells. Blood has plasma around 55 to 60%, and blood cells is around 40 to 45%. What is the function of the plasma here? So the plasma has 92% of water and remaining 80% is of proteins. Here you can see, so 91 to 92% of water it has, and these are all the proteins in the plasma. And red blood cells. So blood cells have, blood cells have blood cells have 3 cells, that is red blood cells and white blood cells and platelets. Red blood cells have more in number than these two, white blood cells and platelets. So what is the function of red blood cells? Red blood cells carries oxygen to all the rest of the body, and actually in the red blood cells hemoglobin is present. Hemoglobin affinates the oxygen, means hemoglobin attracts the oxygen. So red blood cells can transfer the oxygen because of hemoglobin present in the red blood cells. Okay, and red blood cells transport carbon dioxide also, but carbon dioxide in the red blood cells only, red blood cells carries carbon dioxide only 23%, and remaining percentage is transported by plasma. Okay, and what is the function of white blood cells? Suppose in the blood, red blood cells in the number of more like millions, okay, in the blood. But if you take white blood cells, then it would be like in lakhs, and platelets in the thousands. So this is the ratio which we have these cells in the blood. Okay, so the function of the white blood cells, it acts as soldiers. Okay, and because of that it improves immunity. See here, protect against diseases, and it kills disease causing agents also. Whenever any organism, like any agent, enter into our body, these cells, white blood cells, kills the such organisms by throwing antibodies. Okay, like next, what is the function of platelets? Platelets can prevent blood bleeding. Okay, so here small plate shaped cells that help in forming blood clots when bleeding occurs. So the platelets work is the clotting of the blood. Okay, next let's move on. So through this video you will have more information. Please watch this video.
The train is an hour late. Now I won't reach in time for my meeting. Trains are used to transport both humans and freight. However, we often come across instances when trains don't reach their destinations on time. Animals have an inbuilt transportation system for carrying oxygen, nutrients, and waste products. This system is referred to as the circulatory system and consists of the heart and a network of blood vessels. Unlike a train, the circulatory system cannot afford to delay the transport of any substance within a body. This lesson explains how various substances like blood and lymph are transported through the bodies of animals. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to describe the composition of blood. Describe how blood vessels transport blood through the body. Describe the composition of lymph. Compare the structure of heart in different animals. Explain the process of circulation of blood in the heart. And define blood pressure.
In Venice, a boat is the most important mode of transport.
Venice is a city of canals where people use boats to travel from one point to another. In the circulatory system, blood is the most important mode of transport. Blood is a fluid connective tissue that consists of a fluid medium called plasma, in which red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets are suspended. Plasma transports food, carbon dioxide, and nitrogenous wastes in dissolved form throughout the body. Oxygen is delivered to the tissues by a pigment called hemoglobin that is present in red blood cells. The unit of measurement for hemoglobin is gram per deciliter of whole blood. In newborn babies, 17 to 22 gram per deciliter of hemoglobin is present. For children, the normal range is in between 11 and 13 gram per deciliter, and for adults, it is between 12 and 18 gram per deciliter. An adult male has a hemoglobin level between 14 and 18 gram per deciliter, and in adult women, it is between 12 and 16 gram per deciliter. The normal range of hemoglobin is not the same for all animals. In cattle, for example, the range of hemoglobin is between 8 and 19%, which is quite different from that of human beings.
The city of Venice has an extensive network of waterways that allow boats to move around freely.
Similarly, blood is transported from one part of the body to another through an intricate network of tubes called blood vessels. Blood needs to be pumped through the blood vessels for it to reach each and every tissue in the body. This function of pumping is carried out by the heart. Blood vessels are comprised of arteries and veins. Arteries are the blood vessels which carry oxygenated blood away from the heart to various organs in the body. When the blood flows out from the heart, it is at high pressure. To withstand this pressure while transporting the blood, the walls of the arteries are thick and elastic. On reaching an organ or tissue, the artery divides into smaller vessels so that the blood can reach each individual cell. The smallest vessels have walls which are 1 cell thick and are called capillaries. The thin walls of the capillaries allow oxygen and nutrients to pass from the blood into the tissues and waste products from the tissues into the blood. The capillaries then join to form veins that carry the blood away from the organ or tissue. Veins collect blood from different organs and transport it back to the heart. As compared to arteries, veins have thinner and less muscular walls. This is because the pressure of the blood that they carry is much lower than that carried by arteries. Due to the same reason, veins have valves that allow the blood to flow only in one direction. This ensures that the flow of deoxygenated blood is one way, only towards the heart. If a blood vessel ruptures or gets cut, blood leaks out and results in bleeding. This makes blood flow out of the body. Alternately, the blood may flow out through a break in the blood vessel and stay within the tissue spaces. Both these cases could prove to be fatal. In addition, bleeding results in low pressure in the blood vessels, which affects the working of the heart. Platelet cells in the blood act as a defense against bleeding. When a blood vessel ruptures, platelets form a blood clot at the point of injury and help to plug the leak. The circulatory system also uses lymph or tissue fluid to transport substances through the body. Blood supplies nutrients to the tissues and collects the waste products which do not get absorbed by the tissues. The waste product and any excess fluid diffuse into the intercellular spaces of the tissues and then form the tissue fluid or lymph. Lymph is similar to the plasma in blood, but it is colorless and contains less protein. Once lymph is formed in the intercellular spaces, it drains into lymphatic capillaries. Lymphatic capillaries join to form larger lymph vessels that finally open into larger veins. The veins ultimately carry the lymph back into the blood.
The brain is
So let's have recap. How the blood clot. See, whenever we get injured and we fall in and we get injured and the bleeding starts, then what happens there? So how the blood clots? Okay, because of platelets. We have already known that just before. So then in this blood platelets, actually because of platelets we have known, in the actually blood platelets releases thromboplastin. Thromboplastin is the one thing that is released by blood platelets. This thromboplastin here, it acts on prothrombin. This is actually one material present in blood. Okay, we have already discussed that in plasma there are so many proteins present in. Okay, in the blood also there are so many proteins present in. So in the blood platelets here releases thromboplastin. Okay, this thromboplastin acts as prothrombin, and this prothrombin further convert into thrombin. What is that? Prothrombin converts into thrombin because of thromboplastin. Okay, then because of this thrombin, fibrinogen converts into fibrin. Fibrinogen converts into fibrin. So what is fibrin here? Fibrin is nothing but fiber-like structure. In this fiber-like structure, this RBC means red blood cells come and stuck into that fiber. Fiber means it is like what's called fencing like structure. Then in that fiber, when bleeding starts, then after a while, because of this fibrin should form. So by that time blood start bleeding. So then what happens after a while, because of this fibrin forms, then because of this fibrin, RBC gets stuck into that fibrin, and the blood clot will be done. So this is the process of blood clot. Because of blood platelets, in the blood platelets thromboplastin present. Because of this thromboplastin, then this thromboplastin acts on prothrombin, which is present in blood, and this prothrombin convert into thrombin, and this thrombin acts on fibrinogen, and because of that fibrinogen convert into fibrin. Fibrin means fiber-like structure. Because of this fiber-like structure, this RBC is stuck into that, and the blood clots. So this is what the procedure. Next, what are the functions of blood? Please go through this, and please write the notes also. And how can we find the different blood groups? See here in this antigens. Oh, one second. Yeah, here there are two types of antigen and antibodies. Antigens are present on red blood cells, and antibodies are present in plasma. Okay, so this is capital A, and this is small b, and small a, and capital B. So these are all the names are given by scientists. So here in the this is how can we find that our blood group is E, and others blood group is B and A, B, O. There are 4 groups. So we can find if it is a blood group A, then antigen A should be there and antibody B should be there in that blood. Then we can find that blood group is A. And if capital B antigen is present in the blood, and antibody small a antibody is present, then that blood group is called B. Okay, and what about AB? AB means antigen A and B both are present and antibodies are not there. So such blood group is called AB. And what is O? Antigens are absent in that, and antibodies small a and B are present. Then that blood groups confirms that is O blood group. So this is how we can know the blood groups. So girls, please write down the notes, and thank you for watching. Have a great day.